Housing is a very important asset for most people. The case we are talking about today is a murder case caused by buying a condo. The buyer killed 2 people on the 10th day after he bought a new condo. Zhang Yinwang was born in a small village in 1962. He grew up very poor and had to work after graduating from middle school. At the age of 22, he met his wife when he worked as a security guard in the local copper mine. Later, they got married and had a son. Zhang loved literature and often read the books of philosopher Nietzsche. He was good at writing, and his articles were published by local media many times. In 2002, Zhang lost his job because the copper mine was closed due to poor management, but he didn't receive any compensation. At first, he earned some money by writing for newspapers and magazines, but his income was not enough to support his family. In the next few years, he had many jobs, but he could barely make ends meet. In 2004, Zhang moved to Hohhot with his wife and son. Zhang found a job as a truck driver, and her wife worked as a cashier in a supermarket. They couldn't afford to buy a condo because they had no savings, so they had to rent a 400-square-foot apartment in an old building on the outskirts of the city. The apartment had only 1 bedroom, and their son had to sleep in the same room with them, with only a curtain separating privacy between the 2 beds. In May 2009, Zhang's son told him that he had a girlfriend and planned to get engaged. He wanted to bring her home to meet his parents in the evening. After work that day, Zhang and his wife happily made a big dinner to entertain their son's girlfriend. They had a wonderful time that night, and Zhang and his wife both liked that girl a lot. After the girl left, Zhang was a little worried. He felt that someday when his son got married, he couldn't live in such a condition as now with his wife. However, his son had just started working and didn't have any money. Zhang thought that they should buy a new condo as soon as possible so that their son and their future daughter-in-law could have a place to live after marriage. He told his wife his idea and got her strong support. His wife had had the idea of buying a condo for a long time. However, they were short of money, and the housing prices in Hohhot were rising day by day, so they hadn't made up their minds to buy a condo with loans. Now, their son was about to get married, which reminded them that it was time to buy a condo, otherwise the housing prices would only get higher and higher. From the moment they decided, they kept an eye on housing prices and new housing developments. At that time, China's first wave of soaring housing prices was underway, and whenever a new development went on sale, it would always sell out quickly. On March 2nd, 2010, Zhang saw a new development went on sale. It had many 2-bedroom small condos. That day, Zhang took his wife to the sales department of the new development to learn information about the condos. The salesperson who served them was Ding Xiang, a 28-year-old woman. Ding strongly recommended condo 101 on the first floor of Building 7. She said to them with sincerity, "I know your budget is not much. This condo is 750 square feet, which is exactly the size you need. Although it is on the first floor, there's plenty of sunshine, and the structural design is very reasonable." What interested Zhang most was that Ding whispered to them that she had an inside story that there was already a customer who had the intention of buying this condo but had not paid yet. So Ding suggested Zhang buy it as soon as possible, otherwise he might miss such a suitable condo. Condo 101 sold for more than 200,000 yuan, about $30,000, with the lowest unit price in the whole community. Even so, it was still unaffordable for Zhang. At that time, they only had 30,000 yuan in savings. Over the next few days, Zhang received several phone calls from Ding urging him to buy the condo as soon as possible, because she had obtained another inside information that the price would be raised soon. Hearing this, Zhang and his wife were more inclined to buy it. In the next few days, Zhang took his relatives to visit the community 3 times, asking their advice if it was worth buying. Every time, Ding showed them around warmly and friendly. By the way, each time they could only visit the show flat and the community, but didn't get to see the condo 101 itself until the purchase contract was concluded. On March 5th, 2010, Zhang and his wife finally decided to buy the condo. They borrowed 20,000 yuan from relatives to make up the down payment of 50,000 and found Ding to conclude the purchase contract. Zhang was thrilled to finally get their own condo. Until this moment, he felt that he had a place in this city. According to Zhang's wife, he was so excited that he stayed up all night thinking about how to decorate the condo and rearrange the room layout. But a day later, Zhang was as disappointed as if he had been poured cold water. On March 6, 2010, Zhang, who had only seen the show flat before, got the key to his new condo. But when he first walked into 101, he found that something was very wrong. The doors and windows of the rooms were all closed, but there was a loud buzzing sound coming from somewhere. He borrowed a machine that tests sound decibels and tested the noise inside the room. It showed over 100 decibels. Usually, 40 decibels is a normal environment, and anything over 50 decibels will affect sleep and rest. At this time, Zhang still had a glimmer of hope that the noise might be temporary. Because part of the community was still in construction while some neighbors were renovating apartments, he thought that it might be the noise from neighbors or outside. In the following days, Zhang went to the condo several times to check the noise situation. Every time he walked into the condo, he could hear a distinctly strange sound. He and his wife even brought their sheets and pillows to the new condo to sleep for one night. This trial sleep left them completely desperate. That night, they didn't hear any noise on their way from the gate of the community to the door of their condo. However, as soon as they opened the door of 101, the noise came out from inside. Because it was quiet at night, the noise in the room seemed even more jarring than during the day. At that time, the two even mistakenly thought that an earthquake had occurred because they felt vibrations under their feet when standing in the living room. Only after rushing out of the condo did they realize that this vibration of the floor was only present inside their condo. But they still wanted to try sleeping here for one night and see how it went. If they could endure it for one night, then the noise was not a problem. That night turned out to be torture for the couple who had heart disease and neurasthenia, and the noisy room kept them awake all night. When the morning came, they felt like their heads were about to explode. So Zhang waited outside the sales office until it opened, and he found Ding to talk about the noise problems. However, Ding denied there was any problem with the condo. Her attitude was completely different from the one she had before Zhang bought the condo. Zhang was frustrated and decided to find out the cause of the noise on his own. He took the elevator to the basement of Building 7, and as soon as he got off the elevator, he heard the same sound as in his condo. There was a locked room on the basement floor, and the sound was coming from it. Then Zhang found a community staff to open the door. At this point, he realized that the condo 101 he bought was built above a pressure pump. The buildings in this community are all high-rise elevator buildings. In order to ensure the normal water supply for high-rise residents, pumps are installed downstairs to pump water under pressure, and the machines must work 7/24. Room 101 is directly above the water pump room. The roar of machinery and vibrating iron pipes are the source of the noise and earthquakes Zhang felt in the room. Zhang also asked neighbors on the second and third floors and learned that the neighbors on the third floor could feel the vibrations. When thinking back to Ding's strong recommendation of buying this condo, Zhang felt fooled, as she didn't mention this major issue to him. On March 12, 2010, angry Zhang came to Ding to seek a solution, but she diverted the conversation and avoided talking about the issue. So the problem had not been solved. In the following days, Zhang called Ding many times to ask how to deal with the noise problem, but Ding still didn't give him an answer. Later, she felt that Zhang was too annoying and didn't answer his calls. Every time Zhang came to the office to find her, she would turn off her phone and hide from Zhang. Ding's attitude made Zhang very mad. He felt that this woman was two-faced. Her good attitude before was just to trick them into buying this unwanted condo. According to Zhang, once Ding said to him, "You can't afford other condos anyway, so why be picky?" This made Zhang even angrier. Since Ding wouldn't solve the problem for him, he found her leader, the head of the sales department, Chen Liang. At first, Chen's answer was the same as Ding's. He explained to Zhang that Zhang had a mortgage on the condo, so no one else could buy it with a mortgage, which made it hard to sub-purchase the condo. Since Zhang already signed the contract, their company wouldn't take it back because it would be a loss for the company. Finally, after Zhang's repeated begging, Chen relented. He told Zhang that he could switch from the 101 condo to one of the remaining condos of the same size. There were available condos on the 17th floor with an additional 300 yuan per square meter, which meant Zhang had to pay an additional 19,200 yuan to change the condo. After discussing it with his wife, Zhang decided to make the switch, since the 101 condo was really not livable. However, when Zhang came to find Chen again, he was told that the condos on the 17th floor had already been sold out and that now they could only change to the top floor for an additional difference of 600 yuan per square meter. This was completely unacceptable to Zhang. He couldn't afford the money, and he had clearly seen that the 17th floor apartment was still for sale. After repeatedly seeking help from the sales office without any results, Zhang went to the local consumer association and asked the staff to help him solve the problem. However, the staff said that the noise problem was out of their jurisdiction and that he should go to the Environmental Protection Bureau for an environmental assessment. On the afternoon of March 15th, Zhang, who had failed to seek help from the regulatory authorities, returned to the sales office. This time, Zhang was even more humble when he saw Chen, hoping that Chen could help him change to a condo on the 17th floor with the price difference. However, Chen was very indifferent and stated that either Zhang could accept the top floor or stick with 101. There was absolutely no way to change to the 17th floor. Feeling that he had no way out, Zhang knelt down in front of Chen and begged him. Faced with Zhang's pleading, Chen yelled at him, "Don't make a scene." Then he walked away and ignored him. Finally, Zhang stood up and returned home. That night, seeing Zhang drinking alone, his wife comforted him, saying that, if it doesn't work out, we can sue them. But at that time, Zhang had already gone to extremes. He felt that the developer was in a strong position, while he couldn't even afford the lawyer's fees. His wife recalled that night. They talked and cried because they both felt helpless. However, she never expected that Zhang had already made the decision to kill. The next day, on March 16th, Zhang, who rarely cooked, made lunch for his wife and son. At 2 p.m. Zhang wrote a suicide note and put it under his pillow, then went out with an axe and a dagger to the sales office. At 3 p.m., Zhang, wearing a suit, arrived with an axe and dagger hidden in his suit. Chen and Ding were both in the hall. According to Zhang's recollection, when Ding saw Zhang coming in, she glared at him impatiently. Zhang walked straight up to Chen and asked him to go to the office to talk about the problem. At that time, there were no clients in the lobby, so Chen told him that they could talk here, but Zhang walked straight into the sales office, so Chen had no choice but to follow him. As soon as Chen stepped into the office, Zhang immediately locked the door and took out a dagger to stab Chen in the chest, and then took an axe to strike his head and face until the axe handle broke off. Ding, who heard the screams from outside, hurriedly opened the door with her key. Then, Zhang stabbed Ding in the head, neck, and back. Seeing that both of them were lying in a pool of blood without any sound, Zhang felt that he had fulfilled his mission and fled the scene. He came to the rooftop of Building 7, sat on the edge of the roof, and prepared to do the unfinished work before committing suicide. He first called his brother to tell him about the murder and asked his brother to take care of his wife and son after he died. Then he called his wife for a final farewell. He told his wife that he had killed someone and that he had left a suicide note under his pillow for her. Finally, he called the police to surrender, saying that he had killed someone and was now ready to commit suicide. The police quickly arrived at the scene and learned Zhang's location. To prevent him from committing suicide, the police dispersed the onlookers and quietly climbed to the rooftop, lurking behind him. When Zhang was making the phone call, the police pulled him back from the edge of the rooftop. Taken hostage by the police, Zhang didn't struggle at all and was put in the handcuffs without any resistance. When being interrogated, Zhang didn't make any excuses and confessed to his criminal behavior, including the conflicts that led to his decision to kill. Recalling the whole process of buying the condo, Zhang said with a bitter smile that if he could have switched to the 17th floor, this wouldn't have happened.
17楼是卖的，比如说4000块钱，那你也不能问我要4300万，你有你的市场价嘛。而且现在是他让我上18楼就要的这个钱多600块钱，17楼就根本谈都没有跟你谈，他就是说没有了，卖完了。如果是同一条17楼，那我们就出现不了这个事情了。
Ding was nearly 6 months pregnant when she was killed. Before Chen died, his son had just been admitted to a great university and was in his freshman year. The families of Chen and Ding believed that the developer had forced sales to sell condos that didn't meet living conditions, leading to the tragedy, so they jointly filed a claim for 1 million yuan from the developer. In fact, according to the regulations, the noise level of a room during the day should not exceed 50 decibels, and at night it should not exceed 45 decibels. The design of Condo 101 is unreasonable and is not allowed to be sold. If Zhang had gone to the Environmental Protection Bureau for an appraisal and received a result that the noise level was seriously exceeded, he could request the developer to get a refund or replace it for free. In the end, Zhang was sentenced to death for intentional homicide.
我对不起他，他跟我半辈子没有幸福过。以后呢，好多事情呢，让他自己多跟亲戚和姊妹商量商量，正确引导这方面，我也就是走了吧。希望他俩相依为命，孩子呢多听他妈的话。